Hey everyone, welcome back to Lost Odyssey. Last time we went into the magic city of Ura and went to a meeting where Gongora was pretty much just like postponed and held off in his big mansion. Basically, he is like quote unquote suspended from his own project. So us here, Kaim, as well as Seth and Jansen, are going to be going off to Grand Staff to investigate it. So that's what we're going to be doing this episode. Alright, so this is the world map as of now. It may seem like it's weird that we're just selecting locations, but don't worry, this is not going to be a constant thing in this game, don't worry about that. Even though it's disappointing right now, it's very linear at the moment. But yes, we can actually go back to any areas we so choose, at the moment anyway. But for now, let's go to the Epsilon Mountains, which is where we're going to be heading towards to go investigate Grand Staff.
Easy, Buck. I just gotta follow him. This is like a Deathmarch. Hey, we gotta get through that? There's no road.
Pull yourself together. If this is all it takes to wear you out, we're in trouble.
Yeah, well, I don't wear out in bed.
Once we get through here, there's the Ypsilon Range. Those mountains are steep and rugged. The weather is unpredictable. And since the ground is unstable, we have to be on the lookout for rock slides, too. Of course, I expect to see you take a tumble into the canyon before we see any rocks doing it.
Yeah, funny. You know, Lord Gongora was saying you have a problem with your memory, right? I mean, you sure know these mountains well enough. And of course, you know you shave your legs every day and you pluck your eyebrows. And you owe me money, so I'm confused. You sure you really don't remember?
My body remembers.
What?
There was a time when I used to rush through here. I was a pirate, and supposedly I also went through these mountains. But I just don't know what the truth is. I don't have any answers.
Huh. Well, what about you? Did anyone tell you what you once were?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, since you're so upbeat and happy, I doubt if anyone will remember you.
That's fine with me.
Oh?
My body also remembers.
How so?
Just that it was painful. If I happen to remember, and my past didn't amount to much, then I think it's probably better to have never remembered.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
Kaim, there's no need to rush it. Your memories will come back gradually. And they're not all bad.
What? No breaks?
You just had one.
Yeah, how about some water? A little fruit? How about a foot massage? My feet don't stink. Kaim, you up for that? Hello?
Alright, so welcome to the Epsilon Mountains. As you can tell, we can walk back a teeny little bit further. So I might as well do that because trees are also another thing we could ram in this world in order to get things. So yeah, that's something we're gonna have to be dealing with. So anytime you get close to a tree or are able to, just check and see if you can ram it because more than likely there's an item there. But yeah, now that we have 3 party members, we could actually experience this battle system a little bit more in full. Hey look, the enemy's got a little formation going. In formation, the front row provides a defensive wall for the back row, so any damage inflicted on the enemy's back row is reduced. This applies to us as well. Thank you, game. I was actually just about to explain this. So, our front row are our attackers, so pretty much put them out in the front, which you could actually change at any point during in between battles and such. So in this case, we'll just attack this front row here, and we can only attack at the moment because it's a little bit of a tutorial moment. But you'll notice how it says front and back. This is a front enemy, so their defenses aren't as good as the ones in the back. You can see how tight the front row's defenses is with this. Guard condition. The gauge on the upper left-hand corner of the screen indicates an enemy's guard condition. The gauge on the upper right indicates our guard position. Guard condition is made up of total HP of the front row. By attacking the enemies in the front row, you can reduce the guard condition. Easy enough, right? So, pretty much, the back row's defenses go down when our defenses go down in the front row. So, keeping us up to snuff is good. Get rid of the enemies in the front row, and the back row will start losing their defense. Hey, not bad at all. See how guard condition has gone down? The higher the guard condition, the less damage you can cause to the enemies in the back row. When the guard condition reaches 0, I think I read that wrong, any damage inflicted will no longer be reduced. I'll be in the back, so guard me well, alright? So yes, basically, when we're in the front row, we are the defenses of the back row. So the more that the front row goes down, now the back row has 0 defense whatsoever because we got rid of their entire guard condition. So I might as well just attack. Oh look, now they're casting a spell. Here's a little hint for you. See the action order display on the bottom? Well, you punched out the guy who was trying to cast a spell, right? The extended amount of time he needs to pull the spell off is called casting interference. If you manage to cause enough interference, you could even keep the spell from popping off till the next turn. Well, enough talk. I say let's take care of this rabble. So yes, we actually stopped them from casting their spell onto this turn. So might as well see how that actually pans out for us this time around. And that is the battle system in the nutshell. So spells. Spells can be bought in stores or learned by raising your level. Merely acquiring a spell does not mean you could use it. Spells can only be used when you equip the skills needed for the spell in question. Use the menu to view the list of spells you learned in the spell book. This will display the MP required, casting time, and which characters can use them. The alphabetic letters represent the casting speed with 1 turn. S is the fastest, so it goes slower from A to H. The number represents how many turns are required before the spell takes effect. So yes, if that wasn't not descriptive enough, so if we go into the spell book here, Heal and Cure Poison are pretty fast spells, but the only person that could use them at the moment is Jansen. The moment that we learn White Magic from him, we'll be able to cast these spells since we know them in the spell book. The party itself shares one entire spell book. So if we buy the spells in a store, we have them. But we also need to learn how to cast those spells in order to do it to begin with. For now, let's keep an eye out for more items around the way as we go up there. Any more trees I could just ram? Nope. Unfortunately, it is kind of a little bit odd to see which ones you actually can ram if you can. But, what can you do about that?
Oh, yeah. Let's get it on.
Alright, now that we have a full list of things that we could actually do, we can actually go into our formation here and actually change if we want a character in the front or back at any point. Which at this point, keeping Jansen in the back would probably be best off keeping him there. Or we can actually change our equipment from the menu at any point. So if I want to equip this better DLC ring, I can. But I'm not going to just yet because it's a little early for that. Anyways, let's just attack. And even though I have the skills equipped in order to actually be able to cast something, I currently can't. So I have to wait until I actually learn it from Jansen. But in the meantime, Jansen actually has all these things here, as well as another option, which is called a composite magic spell. We'll go into this later when they actually come up, but for now they won't. We can attack the front row, and it doesn't seem to be a back row this time around, so might as well just hit whatever we can. Alright, now that I took some guard condition damage, I may as well show off what happens if you attempt to heal said damage. it doesn't really quite go back up. Even though we got healed, our guard is still down. So we might as well just make use of that while we can. And I'm gonna actually see if I can steal something from this enemy here. Or I can just kill it, that works too.
Leap before you look, I always say.
All right, and that was a decent chunk of experience, allowing people to actually get to a level up. And we actually learned a bunch of stuff. Steel, black magic, and black magic. Jansen also just learned his level 2 black magic spells. But when we actually go into the spell book, black magic, we do know a couple here. Sleep and prism. He does learn some as you level up, but not everything. You might need to buy some. And in this case, now that we actually learned a couple things here, let's see here. I didn't learn any of that stuff, so it's under skills. All right. So now what I could do is I could actually link up a new skill here. I'm gonna actually link up, let's see, white magic and crisis boost. I have not learned that yet, so I can still set off steel because we have learned that at least because of the link skill, which I did learn. And then black magic. So now she knows black magic as well. And since he already has all this stuff, he doesn't need to actually do any of that. But let's see. I do like how when you go up to an item in the menu, if you learn the skill from it, it actually will have stars next to it. So you don't have to worry too much about things like, oh, I don't know if I have that or not. But yeah. Let's see here. Skill link. I'm actually going to learn. How about some white magic as well? There we go. All right, let's head forward. This tree, maybe? Nope. What about over here? There is things over here. 2 pots. A mana herb and ground. Speaking of which, is that a spell? Yes, it is. It is a spell. We just learned the ground spell. Kind of neat finding that rather early on and useful. So just looking around for things, you will learn stuff. Mainly, you won't have to buy them because now you just have them. But yeah. Big open field, more pots on the ground there. Let's check those out. Oh, tree I can ram. All right, that is a seed. And we got some pots. Let's check those out. All right. So yes, unfortunately the map is a little bit iffy. When you take a look around, you notice that the map keeps changing, but the area itself doesn't. Yeah, it kind of makes it a little iffy on when you're actually going around areas looking for things. Not really much you can do there. You just kind of have to look around. All right, looks like we have 3 front enemies and 1 back enemy. So take care of them as much as possible. When you go to attack somebody, if you actually look at the guard condition level on the left there, you'll see it blinking. That's pretty much my potential amount of damage I could possibly do whenever I kill one of these enemies. Like, this is basically how much they have for each one. So, might as well just go through and see about doing some damage here. All right, might as well start going towards the back. And also, as well, what you can do, if you're casting a spell and it hasn't finished yet, for her, she's not really great at casting spells, so it takes longer for her to cast them. So, we can either continue or quit it and just do something else. In this case, I'm going to continue it because I want that spell to go off.
That was a close one.
All right, we got some level ups going. this game itself actually has a neat feature going on with the level up system. So experience is gained over time. Obviously, like most games are. What will happen is if you are over leveling in a spot that, like, say right now if level 11 is like the game where the game wants me to be. If I start killing enemies, my experience rate will go slower and slower, like how most RPGs were. But it's like, it kind of has like a weird cap going on where it won't let you level. I mean, it will if you keep battling. It's just, I'm not explaining this right. So pretty much how it works is when you're leveling up, like in a normal game, it'll just take longer. It starts giving you less experience in order to make it so you're not over leveling, is essentially what I'm trying to say. All right, so we got a couple more items there. Might as well just keep looking around, see if we got any more. Another treat. All right, speaking of which, we got the Knight's Code, and also I've learned more skills. So let's take a look at what we got. Stand ready. Recovers GC when using defend while being attacked. So when we're in battle and we're being attacked, and if we have the defend active, we actually learn to be able to just get it back. That's pretty neat to know. Other than that, I think we're okay. Can I link more skills? Yes, I can. I can link that and learn that. Let's see. I want to keep learning that, though. I wanted to check this out. Nope. You learned more stuff. There it is. Crisis defense boost. There we go. Perfect. All right. Now let's check out other locations while we're at it here. Again, it's like really, really hard to tell because this map is really iffy looking where items are actually at. So again, just keep an eye out for when you're going around areas. It's like, oh, hey, there's this big area over here that looks like it's actually the way forward, which it is. So we're not going that way just yet. We're actually going to head back over this way and see if there's any items over here. Because the map is a little bit iffy looking.
Out of my way.
All right, it looks like we got a little bit of an assortment of enemies here, so don't really need to steal anything just yet. How about we go after you? You attack, and you use some spells. Let's see. We have a bunch of all enemy spells here, which this actually takes 2 turns to cast, but if we use it, it will hit everything. So it sounds like a good bet. Okay, get rid of you, and then we'll continue that. Alright, and sadly we only have one enemy left for this to even go off on, so... Oh well. So we wasted a lot of time on that for... no specific reason. We can just end this with a solid round of attacks.
It's not in my nature to lose.
Alright, and we got a decent amount of experience, and we got some items to actually make some stuff. As well as both characters learning white magic, so we're getting pretty far along in our skills here. Having mortals in our party is actually really nice to just learn these skills. So whenever you can, make sure to just try learn everything you possibly can from the characters. Speaking of which, I probably should learn that. White magic. There we go. And we'll go from there. Nope, that tree looks like I could hit it, but this one again. Okay. All right, let's check out over here, which leads to a big spot, which I believe I might have been in earlier. This is the spot with the 2 pots. Yes, it is. All right, so yes, you can tell how the map is really, really confusing at times because like you're going along the map, then all of a sudden like you're just in a completely different area. It's like, I don't know if I was actually here or not. So it gets a little aggravating if you got certain items or not. All right. All right, so I might want to actually do some healing. That would be a great strategy. So, healing magic, 1A. It's a pretty quick cast, so it would go off about right after these two enemies attack us. Hopefully they don't attack, okay, they attack Seth. All right. Thankfully, we don't have any missed opportunities going on. Heals will still go off. They just don't go off on the person that you were trying to cast it on to begin with. I'm actually just biding my time because there is something I am trying to show off here.
Sorry about that.
So after a few turns, immortals will actually get back up, which is nice because, again, they can't really die. So technically, they just get back up. And if your party does happen to fall entirely, it is still considered a game over.
It's not in my nature to lose.
And we hear that go off, that little ding noise after a battle. That's basically saying, heal, dummy. Because there's a lot of games that they don't really give you this moment of saying heal. There's a lot of games that I will frequently forget to heal. So having the little ding after a battle is really nice to remember that, hey, I need to heal. Anyways, I think we should continue on. All right, looks like we learned some new stuff. So let's check out what we can actually change up now. We have the antidote brooch, which just completely learned. So how about we go and learn factual analysis? And all right, I think we're good there. So let's see about forming another ring, maybe. Let's see, aim ring. Inflicts significant damage on aerial enemies. We can actually learn that now, so I might as well actually build that. And let's see. Another flame ring will be useful just to have two. An earth ring and a wind ring. I said those backwards, but yes, you get what I mean. Anyway, skills. All right, so let's see. I haven't learned that, but I have learned that. So how about I learn Jansen's last spell, that our last thing we can learn from him at the moment, which is that. Same with you. Once you learn those two, we're good to go. All right. Moving on. I'm just making sure I grab those things. Did I get this one? Yes, I did. I just wish some contextual actions wouldn't show after the fact, because sometimes I just don't know if I hit something or not. But I believe we're good to go here. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much. If you do wind up missing stuff, you can return to areas later on, so it's not that big of a deal. All right. There are some areas, though, that this isn't possible, so when those occurrences do arise, I will point them out. All right, any more trees I could hit? Here we go. 2. This one's a nope. What, this one? Yep, I can hit that. This game just loves giving me stuff. Okay. All right, we also learned another spell, Barricade. So let's take a look at that. Barricade spellbook. That is white magic. Slightly increases the magical defense of one party member. It is essentially the shell of this game if you're talking Final Fantasy terms. All right, let's take another look around because it looks like we have a little bit of a spot over here that we could check out. There we go. All right, let's check out what this big, huge thing is over here, if the game will allow me to.
You know, it's tough being so popular.
Speaking of which, let's actually equip some new stuff, shall we? I'm going to equip, how about the flame ring as well? All right. See if that helps me get rid of those things. And might as well get a flare spell off on... Now that I know the type information, it actually helps me out a lot, because I could probably get rid of them by casting like their actual weaknesses and such. Because one will think, it's like, oh wait, it's a plant. But no, it's not like wind or like weak to fire or whatever. They are weak to specific things. So keeping that in mind, you actually take a look and this is wind, right? Okay. So wind, what could wind be weak to? Well, going based off this, whenever we see damage up, it's a good indicator that we're doing what they're weak to.
What did you expect?
All right. So let's check out this place, this big hut.
Hey, I want to ask a favor. I'm just gonna ask this once, okay? Will you listen?
All right already. What do you want?
Whining, okay. Is that all you can say? Can't we just rest in that hut over there?
All you do is complain, complain, complain.
I'm not like you two. I'm a normal human being.
What should we do?
All right, let's rest.
Thank you.
All right, so resting in this hut actually gives us an opportunity. An opportunity to find more items, of course. So, take a look around and see what we can find. And get stuck on things while we're at it. That's always fun. Gotta love the noise of just locating things. It's always just a good, like, nice sound. All right, that's a couple things. So let's check out all these items we just got, shall we? So, power drink. A drink that raises an ally's physical attack power during battle. And a slot seed. Strange seed that grants an extra skill slot to an immortal. We got this a little bit earlier on, but we didn't really need to show it off yet. But having it is just plenty useful just to have an extra spot. Speaking of which, we can actually equip more stuff. So I can learn all those things at the same time. All right. And let's see here, equipment. What was that thing that we just got? The search glasses. Reveals the HP and statuses of enemies. Good to know, good to know. All right, and we got a save point right there. Don't really necessarily need to hit that just yet. Especially since we're about to rest anyways, but let's take a look up top. Looks like we got a bed and we have a spot we can read. We finally reached the mountain hut. Everyone is worn out. I can barely keep my eyes open long enough to leave these few words. We're going to stay in this hut for a while. A giant monster inhabiting the Ypsilon has appeared. We've only glimpsed his shadow near the peak, but it was enough to make us think twice about going on. I got a light fever, probably from the rain during the climb. The weather changes so fast up here. I still have my appetite and I've taken some medicine too. I should be fine after I've rested. The keeper of these mountains is still on the prowl near the summit. We hear the beat of his giant wings and roars periodically. We should be safe in this hut, but who knows when we'll be able to leave. I thought the Ypsilon Mountains are a terrifying place, a nest of monsters, but everything's so beautiful up here. We discovered an exquisitely rare flower today. There isn't much else to do right now. The master of the Ypsilon Mountains finally seems to have moved on. At last we could leave this place. We're going to ensure our safety tomorrow and depart. Alright, so they're basically saying keep an eye out because there's something around. Alright, good to know. Got a little thing right here. What's this? Thing we could just turn on and off. Good to know. And when we do that, we actually see an item under the bed here. Shield. I'm going to go off on a limb and say it's physical defense. Yes, it is. All right, good to know. So now we have 4 white magic spells. All right, so what do you want? Hey, there's a bed here. Let's stay here. Yeah, sure, why not?
Listen, if either Kime or Seth seem like they're starting to regain even a fragment of their memories, use this.
What is it? Oh, hi. I couldn't sleep. I'm usually exercising, sparring with people, and I work out a lot before I...
Was that all?
Was what all? About what?
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
So, going back to save points, there is actually a kind of neat, I would say unintentional feature of save points. If you go to save your game at any point, speaking of which, I probably should save on a slot here. So, if I were to save my game, and if I were to leave and go back to the Xbox dashboard, or just leave the game entirely, depending on which version you're playing. Obviously, I'm playing in the Xbox One X. So if I were to leave the game by just going back to the dashboard and then coming back to the game has no record of my HP levels and such, so I will get fully healed. So if you need a quick heal, you can just leave the game and come right back to it. The game does not keep record of your HP and MP levels. You will be fully healed when you come back. It's always a good little touch and good to know. But for now, I think we can move on. Good morning, Kime. Once we leave here, we'll be almost at the peak. Let's get moving. So we're on the northern ridge now, and it seems rather railroaded. Good to know, but there's a couple of rocks we can just knock over here and find things. It's not really that big of a deal. There's not a lot of stuff on this portion, so just continue on. It should be all good.
The air feels humid.
Well, it's not going to rain. I know the weather. I have a sense about these things. And the sun's going to break through any second, and you'll be peeling off the clothes. Trust me. Oh, great. It's raining. What'd I say? It's going to rain. I knew it. Man.
You're dismissed.
Gongora, please wait.
Pardon the intrusion.
Oh! Gongora, what are you doing?
A moment, please.
What is going on, Gongora? Answer me! The council has placed you under house arrest.
Behold.
Gongora, what is the meaning of this?
There are those who do not wish the monarchy restored to power.
But I do not wish it to be restored to power.
With all due respect, while some fools completely support our current republic, there are also those who long to restore a powerful monarchy. Regardless of what your highness may desire, our country struggles with two political forces, the past and the present. You must be aware of this. Fortunately, I was able to sense your danger through magic energy. Even though I am under house arrest, I could not allow you to be harmed. There are many ways I can secretly move from my manor to yours, your highness.
But if Roxian knew you had been out of your home, you would be subject to even tighter restrictions.
I can look after myself.
I, however, cannot. Had you not come, I would have ended up like that mouse.
You can always rely on me, your highness.
Thank you, Gongora. Thank you.
Well done. We'll have to push him harder. I'll be in touch when the time comes.
Obvious villain is obvious, but what can you do? Alright, so the Northern Ridge. It's raining very, very heavily, and the game wants me to know this. I am walking very, very slowly.